Welcome back to Gun Adventures. Okay, I'm back with the Gamo Phox Mk2. About a year ago, I made a video which was just a quick tabletop style review and a bit of shooting of this one. And at the time I did say I will come back and I'll give you an update. So here we go, this is the update. I did rewatch that video actually, and it's terrible. I don't know how I got away with that. I'm not going to go through everything again, so just a quick overview and then get on to what I've been up to. So this is a Gamo, which is a Spanish company. The barrel is a cold hammer forged BSA barrel. It shares the bolt with the BSA. It also shares the magazine with the BSA. In fact, this magazine was from a BSA R10, and when I parted company with it, I kept a few magazines. Now the reason I didn't keep the BSA was I actually preferred this rifle. There's a bit less air on board, but other than that, it's just as good. As well as being just as good, it's really robust. It's been out in the field, it's been knocked around, dropped, kicked, bashed. All I've done is I've got a bit of silicone oil on cloth, give it a buff over, and it comes up like new. There are a few scratches and marks, but you can't really see those, which is why I love this, because it's just indestructible. Accuracy wise, it's just as good. This is the original scope, which I've popped back on just recently. I thought, well, if I'm going to come back and do an update, I'll put it back as it should be. I actually like this scope, and I've forgotten how good it was. Actually, it's nothing special. It's very similar to the my spare Vic Optics scope 3x9x40 that I pop on various guns that I test. This one has got a bigger tube. It's pretty good in low light. It's fantastic in daylight. I can't say there's anything wrong with this scope other than the fact that because it's bundled with the gun and it's free, the assumption is it won't be very good. Well, actually it is pretty good. The silencer, which is the thing that differentiates this from the Mark 1 Gamo Phox, is removable, and on the Mark 1 it's actually a plastic silencer and it's moulded in. It's not a bad little silencer. I keep it on here anyway, but I've used it on other rifles and it's pretty good. One mod, it is actually coated with some rubber shrink wrap, and I do that because it's painted aluminium. I've knocked it around, it's scratched, so it makes it look nice and it protects it for the future. And it has had a few bashes and it looks just as good as when I put the stuff on there. It's also a bit more tactile, so when it comes to that tighten up, it's easier. So the stock, polymer stock, is it's all Gamo. There's no BSA in there at all. It's not bad. It's not as well finished as some of the more expensive ones, but I don't think that matters. In fact, in all honesty, this one's good because I've taken some very fine wet and dry and taken out a couple of things that I felt were a bit rough. If you've got the time to do that, it's certainly worth it. This is a budget rifle. This is a starter package rifle, so you wouldn't expect it to be that refined. To be fair, it is quite refined. It's a beautiful rifle to shoot. Pinpoint accuracy. In fact, I'm going to get on and do a bit of shooting. I've found that it really likes JSBs. It's quite good with the JSB Hades as well. I've tried lots of H&Ns because I've got a selection of those. I've had a go with Spitfires. Somebody said try some Spitfires in there, and they were okay actually. They weren't bad at all, but they're not as good as the JSB Diablos or the Hades. With JSB Hades fired through a sub 12 foot-pound, you don't get a great deal of deformation, as far as I can tell. But you do get a good whack when they arrive at the other end. So depending upon your distances, you can get quite a good result. Now, I'll be honest, I have used this to dispatch humanely. Things I'm allowed to dispatch humanely, and it's very effective. It's just a really good all-round rifle. This was my second PCP rifle. I've got a few more now, and no doubt I'll have a few more. I am a Springer man. I do love Springers. I don't know what it is. There's just something about them that I can't resist. But this is a pretty good rifle, and you can buy this as a complete kit for £500 with a scope, a silencer, a bag, a pump, a stirrup pump, which is quite a good pump. Usually throw in a couple of tins of pellets in with that package as well. You really can't go far wrong because you're getting something that's actually far better than the price tag. Anyway, I'll do a quick bit of shooting and I'll round up. But before I do that, I just want to say, if you're in the market for a PCP and you've got 500 quid and you haven't got an air tank and you haven't got a compressor, and maybe you've not owned one before, Gamo Phox, definitely a really good buy. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, back in the room. So that's an 8-shot group, which you've just seen. Again, I don't have a coin, but I do have a thumbnail, and if I put my thumbnail over there, you'll see that it covers that group completely. That's a good group. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe a bit low. That'd be me. So you can see that's an accurate rifle. It's consistently accurate. I tend to fire it between the sort of 200 and 100 foot, 100 psi mark, which psi? I mean bar. Anyway, that's where I fire it down to, and I top it up. It's really easy to top up. If you're going to do it with a stirrup pump, it's a piece of cake. If you've got a bottle or compressor, well, it's really easy then. It's a good rifle. It's an accurate rifle. It's predominantly a BSA rifle, built in their factory, using their parts, with that legendary hammer forged barrel, the bolts, the BSA bolt, the magazine's the BSA magazine. The only sort of point where it differentiates is on the trigger, which is the Gamo trigger, but the Gamo trigger is good and it's widely used by other manufacturers too. In fact, it's a really, really nice trigger. I don't know, I'm kind of sort of erring towards saying maybe it's as good as a record trigger. People are going to hate me for that, aren't they? But I think it just might be. Anyway, that's my Gamo Phox Mk2. It's an out and about, knocking around fieldwork gun. It's really, really good. It's really robust. I'm amazed actually that it doesn't look more bashed about. It is bashed about, but none of that seems to show. And the only thing that really went bad was the silencer, because it got really scratched. And it seemed once it scratched, it just got worse and worse and worse. So the rubber shroud over the top took care of that. And I wish I'd done that sooner, but never mind. If you want to get a rubber shroud, you can buy that shrink wrap rubber stuff on eBay, Amazon, various other places. It's probably £3 or £4 for a 600mm length. I'll do a few silencers, cut it to size with some scissors, pop it on, get the hairdryer out, job done. I did that 6-7 months ago. As good as new, and I've done it on pretty much all of my silencers now. I think there's one that hasn't got it, and that's one that's got a lot of machining and gnarling on it, and I don't think it's going to work, but I might try it. Anyway, rambling again, back to the point. Gamo Phox. It's a good buy, it's a good rifle. I'm a year down the line, I've had no issues. The magazines are fantastic because they're the PSA magazine. You're not going to have any problems with those. They're not cheap, I think they're sort of 30 quid a pop, but they don't mess you around. You get one with the rifle. I would recommend having a second one. I think I've got 3 or 4 at least, but they are worth having. And as I say, it's a good all-rounder. It's not the best PCP air rifle on the market, and it's not the cheapest PCP air rifle on the market, but it's something that's really worth twice probably the price tag. I will say there's one thing I don't like, and it's not going to surprise anybody. Pressure gauge is on the end of the tank, so it does mean sticking your nose down the barrel. But that said, at this price point, pretty much everything's got the gauge on the end of the tank, so I wouldn't worry about that. And of course, there's the other thing I have mentioned in the past, that you have to take off the complete cap to fill it up, rather than just twisting it around to a hole. But, you know, that's the nature of budget air rifles. Anyway, I'm going to go now before I waste any more of your time. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. Please like and subscribe. If you have already liked and subscribed, there's a big thank you for you, because you guys are making all this worthwhile. I wouldn't do it without you. So thanks very much, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.